everybody. How are you? I'm Hope, and this is the Hope Akedika show. Welcome again, and thank you for being here today. I can't believe it. It's already week 3. We've been doing this, and we're going to continue to do this. And thank you so much for all of you guys who are really supporting the show and tuning in. Whether you can't make it to the live and you're tuning in afterwards and contacting me personally, I'm really grateful that the show is doing exactly what I imagined it would be doing, um, for me personally and for you guys as well. And it's only the beginning. We're going to take it all the way. Um, let's just get straight into it, okay? So, something that really struck me was during the week, actually, this came out today, is that another world leader has resigned. Are we having a global leadership crisis? Because how is the Prime Minister of New Zealand resigning? I believe her name is Jacinda Ardern. I don't know. I don't know a lot about what's going on in New Zealand, but we always think that side of Europe is good, you know? That's the green pastures. We think of them as, put together and got it all figured out. That's where we want to go to retire. But it just made me think about all the hate comments our current Prime Minister's been getting, Rishi Sunak. And do we really want him to retire, guys? Are we just saying it? Are we just trolling? Are we just, doing what we do over, you know, putting our opinions out there and just speaking our mind in the heat of the moment? Or do we really think that he's incompetent of fulfilling his role? I really need to know, guys, because I genuinely don't know. I'm kind of sat on the fence about this one. I'm not pushing for another prime minister to resign because I genuinely feel like it's just a cycle. We've done it too much now. Like, we can't keep booting out every prime minister we're not happy about. He just apparently he had to apologize because he was sat in a car and he didn't wear a seatbelt and it was a big deal. And ooh, I mean, obviously it's not the right example to set, but was the car moving when that happened? I don't know. I just saw it in passing. I didn't want to get too much into that because I'm literally over the trolling of the man. Like, he cannot breathe, he cannot eat, he cannot catch an aeroplane. Like, prime ministers have been catching aeroplanes as far as, like, they've been traveling by this way for as far as time goes. Do you know what I mean? Like, but as soon as the man does it now, oh, you know, he's traveling that way, and he can't relate. Of course, he can't relate to the public. The reality is, these people cannot relate to the struggles of everyday people. And I'm not saying it's right or that makes it right, but yeah, is that another reason to kick him out from being a prime minister? But I don't know. You guys let me know. Let me know. I don't know if it's just trolling or if we're actually serious about this. Are we really not happy about his leadership as a country? Obviously, we were in a lot of the problems that we're facing now. We were already experiencing them before he came into office, you know. And guys, please don't forget, share the link. Let's share the discussion so other people can get involved in the discussion as well. Um, but another thing something I'm definitely not happy about that's happened in the House of Commons and the House of Lords. It's a bill that has been passed today, and I'm just going to read this. Children born of rape to be classed as victims of a crime. Guys, I'm not making this up. It's a bill. It has been passed. It's not being discussed anymore. It's something that's officially been made legal. Let me just read a bit more so you guys can get the idea of what I mean by what just happened. Children conceived through rape will officially be classed as victims of a crime under new government plans. Of course, the woman who is a rape victim is a victim of a crime, but now they're saying the child to be conceived of this crime is also classed as a victim, which in essence they are, but just listen to this. The changes due to be made in the forthcoming victim bill will entitle those conceived as a result of rape access to information about their case. Sounds innocent. The legal changes will also make it easier for the victim to receive support from police and the criminal justice system whenever they may need it. The law will cover all sexual offences which can result in pregnancy. England and Wales are understood to be amongst the first nations in the world to officially confer victim status to children born of rape. So we're the first to be doing it in the world. England and Wales are understood to be among the first nations in the world to officially. Oh, my bad. Okay. I think that about sums it up, really. I mean, I don't know. Like, when I initially heard the news, I was just like, okay, so the child being born of the crime is being classed as a victim. And obviously, it's not a nice way to be conceived in, but at birth, this title is going to get assigned to that child or children. And um, I'm more than, the support that is being offered to them, I think that's great. Um, but my thing is, we have missed women again. Women again have been overlooked once yet again. Because who's a rape victim and likely to get pregnant? I mean, who's gonna be a rape victim and get pregnant from this? It's obviously women, people who are able to conceive, people with a womb, you know, um, the women. And women to this day, we're still dealing with these things. Like, just now, a police officer has been arrested after 2 decades of sexually assaulting women while in his position of power. Only now, even though there has been red flags throughout his whole career, only now is he being put on trial. It's only is he now being held accountable for his actions. Do you see what I'm saying here? Women, the actual victim in this situation, are yet being overlooked, and we're going straight to the children. And as nice and innocent as it may sound in hindsight, I think it's a great thing that these children will get the support that they need, because most likely their mother, the person raising them, is going to have a lot of trauma and is going to need all the help they can get. The victim, the mother, before that child is even born, needs to have support. And this bill is not saying that. It's not saying that this woman is going to have the support that they need before this child even comes into the world. That's a whole 9 months that women can get support. And I hope as a result, this is going to mean that women are going to be taken more seriously when it comes to rape cases. And it's a slippery slope, because now people can just come and accuse people of rape. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have thought about that. Has anybody thought about it in that way? Is it too soon to be thinking, you know, to be thinking that way? I don't know. But for me personally, yeah, it's, guys, these bills, again, I just want to say this, these bills are being passed every day. Every day there's a bills being discussed in the House of Commons and House of Lords that affect us, our daily life, our everyday life. And we are not hearing about them because the media is being filled with nonsense, things we don't even need to know about. Like, we're still discussing Harry, we're still discussing, I mean, the things that do appear in the news that fill Twitter, that fill all social media platforms, are not the things that really matter. Like, these things are happening behind your back. When you're busy focusing on the wrong things, who's coming into the villa? Love Island is back and is doing what it does best, taking over the whole internet. This is what's happening, okay? So, as much as yes, we do love a little entertainment, we love to keep ourselves entertained and all. Let's also keep an eye on our government, what they're doing, what are they up to, what are these people up to every Wednesday when they go live and they show us the discussions they're having. Get curious and get involved and just see what they're saying in the House of Commons. So honestly, guys, that is one thing I really, really want for our generation to do. Like, we think we're so politically woke, we think we're so, with the discussion, but we're not. We just see what's being put out there by news media outlets, and then we take that and run with it, and we think we're woke. But all these other things happening behind closed doors that are not being pushed out or being fed to us, because we are consumers now at best. We're not actually focusing on the things that actually matter. But, yeah, I can't believe that's actually happened. Like, I'm gonna need to go read more into that, because that news literally just broke out as I was getting ready for the show. So I don't really have a lot of information on it, but it's really interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Please comment your opinion. I wanna hear what you guys have to say, because this is news to me, like news. I didn't even think such a discussion was taking place. in the House of Commons. What is going on in the House of Commons? Um, Another thing that struck me today as well, because if you know me, I always say this, like, as much as the UK try to pretend, oh, we're so we don't, like, the Americans don't influence us as much as they do. There's a massive trickle down of power and influence, whether it's political, whether it's in culture, music, fashion, trends, you name it. I genuinely feel like there's a massive influence there, and it's both ways now. Like, over the past few years, I'm not gonna lie, it's happened both ways, where the Americans on social media, the girls have acknowledged that, oh, the British girls are doing this with their makeup, and we're trying it out. It's nice. It's nice when it's innocent and when we're empowering and uplifting each other. But there are times like when our Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, didn't say this himself directly, but his spokesman made a point that Joe Biden, the US president, signed a law to block a national rail strike last month. I mean, if the spokesman is implying that if Joe Biden can block out a strike, then, what's that implying? It's implying that, yeah, so Rishi Sunak is not really, he's not doing anything bad or anything unusual or unordinary. He's just thinking about, his country, essentially. So blocking strikes is not a bad thing. Like, it's what's being implied there. And I saw a comment that said, "Is America really the benchmark of laws? Shall we start requesting to carry guns too?" I mean, I think people have taken that into their own hands, by the way. Too much gun incidents in the UK for my liking. Like, there's too much going on. Like, why is that happening for a country that it's illegal in? It's just a lot, yeah. But to say that America is not influential, especially in our UK culture and everyday life, would be a massive lie. So, yeah, you know, it's just, yeah, it doesn't look good. Not on the government. Like, I mean, I thought the UK was, a powerful nation. What is going on? I mean, we are literally declining in every way, shape, and form. Our economy is just, I think once a country's economy goes down and people's quality of life deteriorates, it kind of all just kind of goes downhill from there. But yeah, I don't know, guys. The UK, it's not what it used to be, is it? Like, we can outhandedly acknowledge that. Like, it's nothing to do with what people try and make it out to be. Oh, um, there's too many immigrants in the country, or this and that. Yeah, okay, cool. That's your excuse. That's the excuses you want to use to say why the country's going downhill. But no, there has been some powerful people in position, and I mean, it's always been this way, because from the beginning of time, when these structures were being set up, we've seen the people who have been in power, and that power kind of stays in a certain class and ruling and reign, you know what I mean? So we can't even, and now that we're open to it, we're discussing, we're talking about it, but we're not really doing anything about it. We're just trolling and making noise on the internet. But are we really going out there and making the changes that we want to see? I don't know. Do we have that fight in us? The fight that our ancestors had? Like, we don't have the same fight. It's not the physical fight of freedom. It's a mental one now. And I feel like this battle is much bigger, because we have to fight mentally what we're being fed, and mentally we need to fight for ourselves and for the future generation, because we have become so complacent, and we think we're really doing something by writing a comment on a post, or we think we're really doing something by trolling someone on the internet, but we're not making any change. We're not really doing what we're supposed to be doing. When we see something that we're not happy about, are we taking the appropriate steps to combat that? Like this bill right now that's been passed, is it just going to be one of those things where we wait for the worst case scenario to happen before people speak out about what's going on? I mean, I don't know. Do you guys think it's a good idea? I'm still waiting for you guys' opinion on that one, because assigning a rape victim to a child at birth, it just, yeah. Aside, like they should definitely still get the help they need, but I don't know. Um, Guys, are we getting involved in the discussion, the comment section? Please get involved in the discussion in the comment section. Don't shy away, because I really, really, this is the whole point of the show being live. It's so that you guys can talk to me, and so we can talk to each other and discuss these things. Because if you just sit here and listen to my opinion, and I do not have all the answers, I genuinely don't. This is just me giving my 2 cents on the situation. I bring you the news, and I bring you what I feel like we need to shine light on, and we do it together. So I would really appreciate you guys getting involved in the discussion. Oh, guys, this one was one of them ones where I felt like, oh, if I talk about this, am I, gonna upset some people? But apparently, this is an experience a lot of us have had growing up, especially as Christians. So many churches were founded out of spite after beefing members of their old church. Guys, are we gonna address this or not? Well, we already have. We've already started addressing it. I know you've experienced this at least once in your life. Like, you ever go to church, you're just a child, innocent child, enjoying yourself. Before you know it, you're moving church, and you don't really understand the politics of it all. You just think, oh, it's just innocent. And like, I'm all for the expansion of the kingdom, right? Don't get me wrong, I'm all for the expansion. But when it's being done out of spite, when it's being done out of trying to get back at someone, when it's being done out of, oh, who do they think they are? I can do it too. Then, yeah, absolutely not. Like, it's, mm, it's very peak, because these are people saying that they've experienced this. This discussion is happening in the US, in America, in Africa, in anywhere you can pretty much find black people in the world. And I'm sure other races experience this too, but yeah, people are literally laughing out loud. I mean, it's not funny, because it's actually kind of sad, but we have. Okay, let me hold up break on this one and just go to the comment section quickly. So many factors into having a child of a rape victim, I agree. Being labeled as a victim. Uh, yeah, there's so many factors. I feel like it's just, we have not really, yeah, we don't really, it's one of them ones we're going to have to see, really, because the bill's been passed. Like, that's not even up for discussion now. Is how we're going to deal with it as a society, as people, and the children that are going to come as a product of that in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, because we need to see them in their childhood age and how they respond to being labeled as rape victims, and we need to see them when they start coming into their adulthood as teenagers, and how they respond to that as well, and how that affects their social life, how that affects their life at school, how they see themselves, whether they're going to have a positive image of themselves, whether they're going to have they're going to walk through this life believing, well, classing themselves as a victim, and you know just living as a victim. That's it. That's all they might ever amount to, being a rape victim their whole life. I don't know. Like, it's a slippery slope. Like I said, I feel like the help that they're saying they're going to be provided with, it should always have been there. It should have always been there. But I mean, since the UK want to make things right, they might as well take it all the way to colonization and go make things right with the rape victims that are still survivors in many, many parts of Africa. Okay? It's like the rape did not stop when the genocides are still going on. So rape is still going on. Is this same law going to trickle down quickly? I mean, if they care that much, speed up the process and take it to where, there's rape victims in enormous and large sums of numbers. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I know it might sound like I'm against it right now, but I'm genuinely not. I'm just really concerned about how it's going to affect the next generation. And when they come into their understanding, when they become adults and they can understand, they can comprehend the situation, we won't really know until this is a trial and error, really. We're not going to know. We're the first to do it. We're going to be the ones to have the first people to experience this. So we only know when it happens. Yep, picking and choosing. Picking and choosing what we want to make right and what we want to make wrong. It's wrong, guys. Yeah. I mean, genocides in Africa. If I even think about, like, off the top of my head right now, Congo, that one, they were just moving mad. The soldiers there, they were just moving mad. Like, okay, you've come to steal our resources now, but you're also here to violate our women as well, and the children as well. It's just, yeah, no, I'm not getting into that one. That one is an emotional one. Even Namibia, my own country, the Germans know what they did. You know, they know what they did, but yeah, there's many people there who need the reprehension that they need to experience. Oh, and this is something else as well that I saw. And this is not new. This is not new, but it's obviously social media. When something first comes out, you always feel like, oh, this is happening for the first time. It's not, because off the top of my head, I remember experiencing this in school. Going to school as a black girl, you have a new hairstyle and you get pulled into the head teacher's office or whoever and say, yep, that hairstyle is not appropriate for school. And the one that I saw was, my child is banned from school, playground, canteen for her hair. It's neatly braided, yes, that's true, but there's a love heart pattern in the braids. And is it a problem, or is this just um, you know, policing black culture, or is it, as a parent, you think, yeah, I know their individuality and style and their child wants to express themselves, but is that an appropriate hairstyle to have for school? I don't know. Guys, what do you think? What do you think about that one? Should that be normalized? I mean, there should be, schools are allowed to have their policies. I agree. Like, you know, if they need to, because the whole point is, I mean, they don't wear uniforms in American schools, do they? But in the UK, like, you wear a uniform to look smart, and your hair should go with that. Even the boys, I remember the boys would get certain haircuts, and it would be frowned upon, or the boys would cut their hair and they would say it's too short, too close to being bald, so it was not appropriate, and they had to sit in isolation for a week or so until their hair grew back to an appropriate length. I mean, so this has been happening. It's not new, but again, do we feel like it's one of those things that black people have been heavily policed on? Because, you know, these our white counterparts would come to school with like blue stripes in their hair, or, they would be able to dye their hair any color anyhow. But as soon as a black person does a certain hairstyle, that's too much. It's out of our policies, out of their school policies. Again, one of the comments, they pick and choose what they want to acknowledge, and this applies to the hairstyles as well, so, but I feel like it's always smart to just stay clear. I don't know if I'm one of those people who chooses to stay away from causing a problem out of nothing, and just thinking, you know what, if I do this, is it going to be too much? Should I just stick to a certain, stick to a certain box and be like, yeah, this is appropriate, this is what I should do, or should allow people to be expressive? And this is another way again to, no change comes from just sticking to what has been done in the past. I mean, this is how change comes about, by doing something different and then it becoming a topic of discussion. And before you know it, it's being looked into and taken more seriously. And sometimes a change comes out of it, whether you're happy about it or not. At least this is how we make a change, right? This is why we're here as well, to talk about these things. But guys, this half an hours are getting shorter and shorter, and they're starting to really, really go by really quickly. And originally the whole the plan is to air for an hour, but again, we're still building, we're growing together, and I can't wait for the discussion to keep growing. But as the weeks go by, we will definitely probably increase the time as well. And there's some things that I want to do with you guys on air that will require me to have more time. But yeah, I can't believe it. Literally, I looked down at the time and I was like, oh gosh, we don't have that much long left. But guys, just a quick one, honestly, about our prime minister though. Like, what is the actual deal? Are we gonna let this man do his thing? Are we gonna let him run his course, or are we gonna boot him out? What do you guys think is gonna happen? Do you think that Rishi is gonna survive the next 5 years? Do you feel like whether or not we manage to kick him out, or whether or not he sticks around with all the verbal abuse and all the threats and the hate and the racist comments and all of it, do you think he's gonna push through? I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? Let's vote for it in the comment section, because I really want to know. This one is very fascinating to me. Do you think he's gonna make the full term? I want this to be a vote in the comments, so next week when I come back I can just do a little poll to see whether this man is gonna survive his term or not. But yeah, honestly, thank you so much, guys. Again, like I said, these half an hours are getting shorter and shorter, but we'll see. With time, we will grow and expand, and I'll probably try to increase the timeline of the show as well. But thank you so much for everybody who tuned in today, and everybody else who's going to tune in later as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel Breakthrough TV, and like, comment, and share, because this is how we grow. You liking, you showing love, and sharing is how we can get the discussion even more interesting and even more exciting for us to get involved in every week. So thank you so much for everybody who's joined in today, and I will see you here next week on the Hope Akedika show.